Now this, President Trump says, quote, he doesn't care if Iran comes back to the negotiating table. Watch this.
Oh, I don't know. I don't care if they come back or not. If they don't come back, I'm fine. Their military is gone. Their missiles are largely depleted. The manufacturing capability for missiles and drones is largely defeated. We've been very nice. We haven't ripped down too many bridges. We did one only because they broke their word, they broke their promise. And remember, their promise was that they were going to open the Hormuz Strait. They didn't do it. They lied.
Katie McFarland join me now. Katie, isn't this the same old story? The Iranians are just playing for time, but this time, President Trump wouldn't let them get away with it.
Yeah, you know, Iran has been doing this for decades. They play for time because they think as long as they can delay and then they can obfuscate and then they can have a deal, but then they try to retrade the deal, that they're buying time. And during that time, they want to build up their nuclear weapons programs. So when President Trump called their bluff, it accomplished a couple of things. Number one, we're not going to believe that, you know, wash, rinse, repeat cycle. We're not part of that. And then the second part of it was by sending J.D. Vance, the vice president, who's known to be, or thought to be, a skeptic of the Iran war, to have him lead the delegation. That showed Iran that we're a united front. Iran is very good at playing the Republicans against the Democrats, the doves against the hawks. And what we showed was that we have now a very united administration pursuing this war.
Katie, this is what the administration is demanding from the Iranians. We're going to put it on your screen. I'm going to scroll up through a long list of demands about nuclear, there you go, end all nuclear enrichment. I'm not going to go through the whole lot, but that's a full series of demands. Are we going to get all of that?
It's a negotiation, as President Trump always says. You know, you win some, you lose some. But what are the things that are our red lines, the things that we really won't let them get away with? And that's the nuclear weapons. So it's the highly enriched uranium, it's the nuclear weapons program, it's the long-range missile program. I think that's the non-negotiable demand. And then now, because they've decided to play cute with the Strait of Hormuz, it will be to open the Strait of Hormuz.
Hungary's Viktor Orbán has conceded defeat after 16 years as prime minister there. Is this a blow for Trump because Orbán was a Trump ally?
Yeah, but I think if yes, on the face of it, yes, this is a Trump ally who was defeated. But there are other reasons when you start peeling it back. Look, he's been in power for 18 years. There's a lot of Viktor Orban fatigue in Hungary. The other thing is that the Europeans, they're very anti-Trump. They have Trump derangement syndrome, even worse than the American media does. And so a lot of that probably bleeds into Hungary. But really, when you get right down to it, it's the economy. The economy in Hungary is not where people wanted it, and there's charges of corruption. So I think all those things together, the Hungarians, they wanted to have a closer relationship with Europe. They're sick and tired of Orban for a bunch of reasons, and then the economy and the corruption issues. I think all those contributed to his downfall.
Can we just get back to the Mideast for a moment? You've been at the center of this action for a long time. You know this very well indeed. Would you give us an idea as to how it plays out?
Okay, I think a couple of things have happened. Trump brilliantly flipped the script on Iran. So Iran is saying, well, we'll let some tankers in if they pay us a toll or if they're our friends like China and India. And the president is saying, we're not going to take military action. We're just going to blockade the whole place. And so either it's all in or all out. Everybody uses it or nobody uses it. Now, who does that hit the hardest? That hits China, because China needs that Iranian oil to come through, and they need to buy oil at a discount. That's how they powered their industrial revolution. That's how they're going to power their AI revolution, is cheap oil from the Middle East. They're not going to get it. And so then the final part of it was President Trump saying, hey, come buy American oil. And that will, we have an option for you. If you don't like the risks of the Middle East, come and buy American. But you got to pay full price if you're buying from America.
And 1 month from now, President Trump goes to Beijing for a formal meeting with Xi Jinping. 1 month away, that's all it is.
Yeah, here's why this is so interesting. I worked for Henry Kissinger when we were negotiating the end of the Vietnam War, and there was a similar kind of situation with the United States and the Soviet Union, a summit we thought might be canceled. At the end of the day, countries, big power countries, are interested in big power, what's good for them. They don't really care as much about all the other subsidiary issues. So if China wants this summit, because China wants the U.S. trade. China's going to make sure that it happens. How does that happen? I think China's going to put a lot of pressure on Iran in the next 3 or 4 days.
Oh, that sounds good. Katie McFarland, always a pleasure. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again soon. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.